Alright guys, TouchCribber here, back again today. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Plenty to discuss. Good news for Call of Duty Modern Warfare is what I wanted to discuss today, and the potential for the future as well. We have some good announcements, a good patch has come out over the last few hours or so related to the game, and some significant improvements, I think. Definitely a long way to go, but definitely good signs for the competitive season this year, and I think game battles and competitive play more generally is going to be a lot more enjoyable given this patch update, and it certainly seems like they are on the right track here towards actually making a good competitive game, which I'm sure is pretty much what all of us guys are interested in. And of course, for the most part of us, a good competitive game also means a good public match game, at least with enjoyable, there's not too much overpowered stuff, etc, etc. We've been through it all before, so yeah, like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you are new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's hop into some stuff before we get into the patch notes and the Modern Warfare related things. We have some Call of Duty stuff related to, of course, the team. So first of all, Mad Cat is signed onto the London Royal Ravens as their substitute, their final substitute. So of course the team's going to be Scraps and Wuskin, the twins. We've got Dylan CoD on there as well. Then we've got Jerd. Then we got Rated. Then we've got two substitutes being Shawnee and also of course the one and only Mad Cat. So he's going to be on the team. This was leaked actually when I was on Spitfire a couple of days ago. Brycey said Mad Cat. I guess he thought it had gone public or whatever. We tried to keep a straight face, but Royal Ravens announced it today anyway, and it was kind of rumoured for a little bit before that anyway, so not the biggest deal. Find it kind of interesting that this announcement video they do for him has like Black Ops 2 clips, Ghosts clips going back in the day. Like the most recent clip on here was one from Infinite Warfare, right? Nice to see those old games, but maybe that's not the way you want to be introducing a player that you're hoping is gonna potentially be a substitute to take you to the top. If you're introducing him with clips from way back in the day, Black Ops 2, but who knows? Maybe this could be the way forward. So anyway, Los Angeles Guerillas make a couple of big confirmations as well. So of course we know their main team, Aches, Decimate, Aqua Saint and Laceville, that's been confirmed. Still might get into some detail talking about that squad and the potential I see for it in coming days. But also Bevels has been confirmed as their kind of analyst, their secondary coach, whatever. Of course he did a great job with Aches before in the World War II season. Is undeniably that Evil Geniuses team towards the end of the season had some great success out of Bevels, S&D strategies, smoke spots, all of this stuff. Definitely was very influential, and Aches is a guy who's pretty serious about stuff like this. Like if there was something that there was difficulties there and he wasn't getting on so well and he didn't think Bevels was contributing, then of course Aches was not gonna have Bevels stick around, right? But he does. He likes him in the team. Ricky is there as well as coach, and Doug Leby as well. This guy you may not know, but I've heard of him, or I've been aware of his work for about a year or so, maybe a little bit over that now. I remember back in the World War II days, he helped JP, who was one of the MLG stats guys, do some really cool stuff to do with like heat maps in World War II. Now he's carried that through and helped with the COD stat stuff through the last season, and now he's got picked up as an analyst effectively for this team. So I think that's a pretty damn good coaching staff and an analyst lineup. Not too convinced about the team as yet, but we'll have to see how things develop. So to follow up from what we saw yesterday, we talked about the World Tour and pretty much all the announcements as to where the games are going to be played all season. OpTic Gaming, so the OpTic Gaming, right, Los Angeles, they did this announcement. So they said their schedule for the 2020 season is going to be as follows. This is kind of too small to see, but what they did announce, which was not meant to be confirmed, we talked yesterday how pretty much everything is confirmed, but the issue is that, well, at least the mid-season playoffs and the end of season playoffs they hadn't yet confirmed dates for. However, on here, and I'm sure you guys can't see that, but the Rokkr, the Minnesota Rokkr, did it as well, or at least they said the mid-season weekend was going to be May 2nd to the 3rd, and they didn't include on this one what the final championship weekend was going to be, but it was deciphered from that OpTic Gaming tweet that they're talking about August the 9th. So it's pretty much what I said, but just to put it in your diaries as early as possible. These may not be fully confirmed, but the fact that Minnesota and OpTic Gaming are coming out with them kind of implies to me that there's a lot of truth behind this. So yeah, mid-season weekend, May 2nd, and then the championship weekend, so COD Champs effectively is going to be in August as far as we know right now. So yeah, keep that in mind as we go forwards. And yeah, let's get on to some good stuff here. This is related, of course, to the update. We've talked about this in coming days. We also know that there will be some more updates, largely in a good light going forwards. Hasn't been really any talk on the minimap yet, but this is what Joe Seacott says. So a lot of solid changes here. Spawn updates, supposedly we did talk about yesterday, with Attach saying that him and some other pros were flying out, and or not necessarily flying out, but going to help Infinity War with helping up the spawns. And also we have heard that Hardpoint should be coming very soon into public matches, and having a game in public matches and getting all that data from that really will help them improve the spawns and get that kind of level better, which is why some people are saying that Domination right now plays even better than Hardpoint. Personally, I'm not convinced, but yeah, if you are the spawns in public matches, at least Domination can be used to help influence some of the logic for competitive as well, which is why Hardpoint being in public matches is hopefully going to be a big deal. Weapon updates have changed. We're going to go into that in a second. An M4 nerf, SMG buff. Sure, a lot of you guys would like to see this. Not too significant though, which is nice, right? Like, even if some of these changes may be in the right direction, but are very, very, very minor, which is fine, right? It's better than completely destroying a weapon as has happened in the past. Infinity Ward are kind of known for bringing out really strong weapons at the start of games and then nerfing them into oblivion. If you guys remember the MSBS back in Call of Duty Ghosts, that was just the best gun in the game at the start. It could like 2-shot kill. It was ridiculous for a 3-round burst weapon, and then they nerfed it pretty much into the ground, and it was never heard of or seen from again, right? So yeah, overhaul of footstep audio for ADS and crouch movement. So these things are still to come. Yeah, spawn updates, weapon updates. The FAL is mentioned, and this is pretty important now. Crouching and ADSing, they did say, I think somewhere else, maybe not in this tweet, but it was going to be effectively completely silent. I think right now they've quietened it down a bit, but it's not as far as I would like it to be, and crouch movement should definitely be completely silent. There's no question of that in my mind, and I think ADS movement should be as well, if you're moving at the same speed, because when you ADS and move, it's pretty much the same speed as that you're going if you crouch and just walk, right? Something like that. So yeah, definitely some updates that need to be changed. So this is quite interesting. Of course, we have this shoot house map now in the game. I actually think it's pretty decent. Like, it's not quite like Kill House was from Call of Duty 4. Not too bad, but Sim does say too small for competitive, which I agree with. In 5v5, especially Search and Destroy is not going to work. Potentially, you could get a respawn to work on this map, but it's probably too chaotic for 5v5. But, you know, it's a decent map for pubs at the very least, which is nice to see. I wanted to show you guys this as well, because this came out on Reddit a couple of weeks ago, I think, like the things that would be nice to fix Modern Warfare. And you can see some of these have been crossed off as actually being fixed. So, yeah, movement speed, etc., character callouts. We're going to go on to that in just a second here and look at what exactly has changed. Just one more thing before we go into it then. There was this team noticed yesterday. So they were scrimming against the Minnesota team. That's Spacely, Bose, Pharaoh, Parasite, and Spart. So very interesting squad. Bose may have found himself a landing spot, as is Pharaoh, which was up in the air for one time. But of course, that'll be path to pro stuff. Let's go into this then. A lot of key detail here that I'm sure is going to be useful to know for you guys. So bugs have been fixed, back-end fixes, all of this kind of stuff, variable scope fixes, fix for the Semtex warning audio being heard at the same volume whether in a building or outside. Like, these are very minor things. There are, however, some really big ones. So various collision issues been fixed apparently. This is a really key one for a lot of you guys that played the beta as well. Sprint and tactical sprint speeds are now back to speeds in the beta. So pretty sure from what I'm hearing, the main game, as I'm sure you guys may have noticed when it released, the movement speed was probably dropped by about 5%. Maybe it felt more significant to you guys, but 5% can be pretty significant when you're that in tune with how quick people are moving. They've actually raised that back to the movement speed in the beta, which I thought was much more fun personally, and even a 5% change like that, that's definitely a big difference. Progressal of the bomb defusal. I showed you guys this glitch a few days ago now that Major Maniac had a clip of. Effectively, when someone was defusing the bomb, when you had planted it, you could see a little red line on the outline of the bomb when they started defusing. Absolutely ridiculous. Apparently this has been fixed. I don't fully trust developers to actually fix things when they say they've fixed it. They might do a back-end tweak that they're pretty sure is going to fix it, but you know, who knows if it actually does change things. And let's get into some of the more juicy stuff. So, Riot Shield, if you guys are having issues with public matches, when you'd have a Riot Shield in front of you or someone else would, they could throw like a throwing knife really quickly and the Riot Shield wouldn't even seem to disappear. That's apparently now fixed. The Claymore issue is a big one, of course, not relevant for competitive, but I'm sure it'll improve your guys' public match experience. You cannot be killed by a Claymore now if you shoot it. The trigger radius has also been largely reduced. So if there's a Claymore really close to a door and you manage to run past just before it explodes, if you're then outside outside of the blast radius of the 2 lasers, that actually is consistent now and you will survive. Battle chatter as well has been removed all over the place. Mounting, slight increase to recoil while mounting, which is a pretty good news, to be honest, on the whole. Not too relevant for competitive play, but the mounting one certainly is. Lighting apparently has been updated, but from what I'm hearing, it's not significant at all. Footsteps as well, so this is a massive one right here. Increased the occlusion percentage to filter footstep sounds behind geometry and adjusted footstep volume at a distance. Up close, if someone is out in the open, it still sounds about the same as it used to, but when someone's further away, the footsteps quieten down much quicker, and I'm pretty sure that when people are behind walls, you don't hear them as easily as you used to, which obviously is a big change. And as it says here, they're looking to make crouch and ADS movement significantly quieter once again in the next update, so definitely moving in the right direction here. And then we go into weapon updates. So the 725 shotgun, of course, you guys all know, is ridiculously OP. It is still ridiculously OP after this update. I don't think this is as significant a nerf as we need to see for the 725, but I do like that they're kind of going in stages. They're not completely destroying the weapon. It needs to still be viable. It just doesn't need to be as strong as it is right now. The M4, they've done a similar thing. Reduced damage range has happened on all of the assault rifles that are the 5.56 caliber ones. So pretty much the main assault rifles that have decent fire rates are all going to have their reduced damage range. I think the Drifter said 23 damage at long range has gone down to 18, which changes it from a 5 to 6 shot kill at long range, which is honestly a pretty damn big deal, and it's going to make some other assault rifles more viable, and make, you know, some of the more DMR assault rifles, right, like the single shot ones. Something like the Odin now could be very, very strong indeed, because I'm pretty sure that's not a 5.56 millimeter rifle. So they also say the M4 has a recoil increase. From what I'm hearing, this is very insignificant, if at all, but still, things are going in stages. The SMG's increased movement speed, in addition to the increased base movement speed, is really quick. Increased ADS move speed, small reduction in sprint out time. So big updates here to the SMGs, and in addition to that, the Uzi's been buffed a bit. The MP5 and MP7 now are going to be more competitive, and you know, the MP5 and MP7 especially were really good at long range anyway. The fact that the M4 is now going to be nerfed a bit in that regard, I still think the M4 right now is going to be the main weapon. Probably some more updates to come soon, but maybe given this slight recoil increase, the Kilo may be a little bit more competitive with the M4. I still think for now the M4 is going to be the main gun, but the MP5, MP7 are probably increasing in their viability, which personally I like to see. Crouch and Pro no longer adjust recoil. There were some bugs, I think, with the Kilo, where if you crouched, your recoil would basically shoot off to the sky, which was a bit stupid. They've basically just reduced all of that, so even if there were some weapons that were giving you better recoil with crouch and prone, now that's not happening at all. And some other updates as well. This final one, just to touch on, updated rule sets for CDL competitive modes in private match. According to this individual on Reddit, Hunter42100, they reckon that using the pre-made rule set disables field upgrades, so you can't use dead silence. Of course, not what you want, so keep that in mind right now when you're using it, but ideally when this is fixed, now we're talking about something that really makes it a lot easier for us who want to play competitive. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you are new as always. Thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts down below. I'll see you tomorrow. See you next time.